There is a strange truth hiding inside garages, job sites, backyard workshops, and dusty tool chests across America, a truth that die-hard brand loyalists refuse to believe. Not every cheap tool is garbage. Not every expensive tool is immortal. Hidden in plain sight on the shelves of Harbor Freight are a handful of shockingly cheap tools that refuse to die no matter how recklessly, brutally, or carelessly they are treated. These are the bargain warriors, the underestimated underdogs, the tools everyone mocks until the premium gear breaks first and suddenly the cheap thing is the only lifeline left. Most people still hold onto the belief that expensive equals durable and cheap equals disposable, but step inside any real-world workspace and you'll find the opposite quietly happening every single day. And it all begins with a tool so simple and so overlooked that it has built a secret legacy by surviving long after everyone expected it to fail. The Pittsburgh screwdrivers are the silent heroes of the budget tool world, the ones no one respects but everyone ends up relying on. They arrive in your toolbox with no glory, no bragging rights, no fancy branding screaming about engineering or innovation. They're the humble workhorses with plain handles and straightforward steel shafts, usually tossed into the drawer as backups or emergency options when the real, high-end screwdrivers go missing. But then projects happen: stripped screws, rusted fasteners, stubborn joints that fight back like they're welded shut. And when the premium tools begin to slip, chip, twist, or betray their price tags, the Pittsburgh screwdrivers are there, unfazed, ready to prove everyone wrong. They shouldn't last long, but they do. They shouldn't survive being used as chisels, pry bars, makeshift punches, or paint can openers, but they do. They shouldn't provide grip and torque far above their price range, but somehow they do. Even their tips stay surprisingly sharp, the steel refusing to surrender. They survive falls, rust, abuse, neglect, and the absolute worst jobs you can imagine. And if you ever do break one, which feels like a legendary accomplishment, Harbor Freight hands you a fresh one without questions. It's almost like immortality disguised as a screwdriver. And if screwdrivers can survive the apocalypse, wait until you meet the pliers that shouldn't be this tough but absolutely are. Doyle pliers look like the kind of tool you buy only because your good pliers are across the room and you're too lazy to go get them. They don't scream high-end or flagship design. They're simple, modest, easy to underestimate. But the moment you clamp them down on a rusted bolt or a stubborn piece of metal that refuses to budge, a shocking discovery hits you: these things bite and they don't let go. People assume cheap pliers will wobble, loosen, or misalign after just a few jobs, but Doyle pliers maintain their grip like they are permanently angry. Their forged steel stays tight, the jaws stay aligned, and the joints remain smooth even after years of heavy mechanical abuse. They absorb pressure and torque that should destroy them. They handle sharp edges and gripping challenges that send expensive brands whimpering into early retirement. They're the pliers you pick up thinking they're temporary and suddenly realize you've been using them every single day for years. They outlast expectations, outperform assumptions, and constantly embarrass tools that cost triple the price. But even the toughest pliers eventually need help from a tool that measures success in inches and feet. That's where the humble Pittsburgh tape measure comes in, the tool that survives everything except basic respect. Everyone laughs at cheap tape measures. They toss them into junk drawers. They treat them like giveaways meant to be lost or destroyed. And yet, like a stunt performer too stubborn to retire, these tape measures keep surviving falls from ladders, blade snapbacks that would ruin lesser springs, kicks across concrete floors, and the crushing weight of everything piled on top of them in a chaotic toolbox. The numbers don't fade quickly, the blade doesn't crumple like foil, and the lock mechanism continues to function long after fate says it should have jammed. Before you realize it, that disposable tape measure has been riding with you for years, surviving jobs that destroyed the expensive one you bragged about. And when it finally disappears, it's not because it failed. It's because it served so well that someone else likely stole it. And if a tape measure can take beatings like a champion boxer, imagine the cordless drill everyone expected to die before finishing a single weekend project. The Warrior drill is mocked more than any other Harbor Freight tool. People see it as a toy, something made for kids pretending to build a treehouse. But when it comes time to assemble furniture, drive screws through stubborn wood, or drill into surfaces that fight back, the warrior's secret strength reveals itself. It doesn't stall out early, it doesn't smoke like an overworked budget motor, and it doesn't crumble under pressure. It just keeps going, not loudly, not dramatically, just persistently. It works on home projects, car repairs, odd jobs, tasks it had no right surviving. It keeps spinning long after experts predicted its funeral. The battery lasts longer than expected, the plastic body shrugs off drops that would crack pricier brands, and the motor, somehow, unbelievably, refuses to quit. It becomes the drill you reach for first because it's the drill that always works. And if a drill can defy mockery, imagine a hammer that looks like a toy but hits like a wrecking ball. The bright orange Pittsburgh dead blow hammer seems like a joke. Plastic, really, but inside that bright casing lies a chamber of steel shot that absorbs impact and multiplies force in a way that turns tough jobs into easy ones. You can smash, tap, pound, and strike without the recoil that sends shock waves into your arm with traditional hammers. People use them on steel, on automotive parts, on stubborn joints and pieces that need persuasion, and they find out quickly that this hammer is secretly a brute. The handle doesn't crack, the head doesn't deform, and the orange shell doesn't disintegrate. It thrives in chaos, survives mistakes, and outperforms expectations so aggressively that people end up buying 2 or 3 because they never want to be without one again. And if a hammer made of plastic can take punishment like forged steel, then surely a ratchet with a reputation for cheapness must fail early, right? Except the Pittsburgh Pro ratchets do the opposite. Smooth, fine-toothed, reliable, and shockingly strong, they have earned respect from gearheads who wouldn't be caught dead praising anything cheap. Yet here they are, still ratcheting, still gripping, still refusing to strip or slip. These ratchets survive torque challenges that would twist lesser tools into metal pretzels. They are replaced with lifetime warranties so incredible that breaking one feels more like a mission than a possibility. People who once swore allegiance to premium names eventually admit something almost shameful: they trust these Harbor Freight ratchets more than their expensive alternatives. And if ratchets can claim a throne in durability, wait until you see the tool that literally lights the way and simply refuses to burn out. The brown magnetic USB light is a tiny miracle, compact, rechargeable, and bright enough to expose every nook of an engine bay or crawl space. People drop them on concrete, leave them outdoors in rain, slam them in car doors, and this little light keeps shining. The magnets stay strong, the hinges stay tight, and the battery life continues to impress years after purchase. Mechanics swear by them. Dyers panic when they can't find theirs.